All right, we're going live now with a special edition Cowboys radio show. Cowboys aren't in the playoffs, but it's no better time to talk about playoffs than now. We just went through the wild card round. It was kind of wild and crazy, but a lot of fun. Let's go through and look at going live now with a special edition Cowboys radio show. Cowboys aren't in the playoffs, but it's no better time to talk. So we're just going to, before we get started, kind of look back at the seasons past. As I said, this is season 17 of the UFL. We started this group of guys running Madden 12. You can see, I can't believe they still let a guy named Apalapu win the first Super Bowl in the UFL because Houston Texans. Then a name that's been synonymous for years to come, as you'll see, is Silk with the San Diego Chargers winning the second one. And then the third Super Bowl was won by another guy who's not in the league anymore. Bell's on hard here, I guess. He had a short run. He won his championship and got out. But then a familiar name pops back up. Super Bowl IV, San Diego Chargers with Silk again. And then Notorious Perp, a great player. He hasn't been in this league in a while. He's been out for a little bit, but he was a great competitor. He won with the Kansas City Chiefs. And then another famous person in the UFL, Master Keys, won with the Houston Texans. And then a newcomer came in the league in season 6 and said he was going to win, but didn't. But season 7 and 8, he did do that with his Washington Redskins. JC 2020, he was probably one of the most talkative players we had since one of our new guys that's in this league, which we'll talk about in a little bit later. It reminds me a lot of him. Then D-Unit. Up above here, what you don't see is D-Unit making tons of AFC championship games and just falling short of the Super Bowl in several classic battles. Even in the Super Bowl, he lost one to JC, and then here D-Unit pulled one out finally. But before this, he'd probably won the most AFC championship games of anybody. And then NWA, the UFL Rams is now, I guess, his name. So always a great competitor. His offense is great. He won one with the St. Louis Rams, which was amazing, in Madden 13. And then last year we switched over to Madden 25. And note, this is the first season. Super Bowl 11 and 12 won by the Raiders, another back-to-back Super Bowl champ. We got the natural gamer here, Mike Wright, as you all know him on the Facebook forums. And again, it's the first season of the league he won the Super Bowl, and I think season 12 was a restart, and he won it again. So it's an interesting note because we're starting the first season again in Madden 15 when he's definitely a playoff contender. And then two-time Super Bowl champs, Silks didn't want to be upstanding and let all these other guys get double back-to-back Super Bowls, so he won Super Bowl 13 and Super Bowl 14 with the San Diego Chargers again, making him a four-time Super Bowl champ. Master Keys had to put him a second one on his belt loop too. He pulled one out with the Indianapolis Colts. I believe, looking back, he may be the first owner to win two Super Bowls with two different teams in the UFL. And then my arch enemy, the Ryan Bolden, the Cyclone 3 and Xbox Live name, he went our last season of Madden 25 with the great Super Bowl run there, and then he's back in the hunt again this year. So that's kind of where we've been. 16 seasons. We went through Madden 12, 13, and there was no 14, which is 25, and now we're in 15. So let's kind of back out and look and see where we're at these days in the UFL. And I don't know if many of you guys have seen this Daddy Leagues page, but hopefully you're going to it, doing your scouting. daddyleagues.com, UFL 15. Go here, it has tons of great information. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the playoffs and see who's done what, how the seasons ended up, and we'll go through and take a look at the standings real quick. You've probably already seen Giants won the East, Vikings won the North, Falcons won the South, West was won by Seattle Seahawks in a great last week win over the Rams. Miami Dolphins, controversial Dolphins, one of my favorite teams to watch personally. I'm kind of rooting for him to do some noise this year. The Cleveland Browns, surprisingly, won the AFC North. That's pretty amazing with Johnny Football at the helm. Texans snuck in with a losing record and just put up a great fight in their wild card round. We'll talk about in a minute. And then these two guys, probably two of the most Super Bowls, definitely two of the most Super Bowls. Got 4 here, we got 2 here. Six of our 16 Super Bowls are sitting here in these two teams, which is amazing, and they'll be playing in the playoffs again, you'll see, in the Raiders. So let's go look at the standings. But if you look at Daddy Leagues, it has tons of information. You can go to the standings. You can look at division, conference. You can look at everything. We're going to focus on schedules. We're in postseason. Let's go back to the wild card round before we move on to divisional round. So we'll talk to these wild card games. They were amazing. The first game was the Bengals and the Dolphins, 16-20. And then here we're at the Dolphins and Bengals, 16-20. Go look at some of the key stats, and it was a pretty even game. Passing yards allowed 186 to 197. Rushing yards 100 to 133. Defensive sacks, probably the game changer, 3 sacks and no sacks. And then the turnovers, of course, 2 to 3. Usually you win the turnovers, you win in the UFL. Take a quick look. And Billy running the Dolphins. This was a big win for him. I mean, this team right here, there's no telling how much they can propel off of this. We'll see who they match up against in the divisional round. Could be an interesting fight. And here's some of the stats from the game. Skelton, the quarterback. We all know the Bengals can make any quarterback successful. He's got great user skills at quarterback passing. I think he must have a magic controller. And Ryan Tannehill, pretty good stats, 186 yards, 2 interceptions, no TDs, both quarterbacks. That's a very interesting game. I didn't get to catch this one live. I wished I would have. I had to go back and catch the broadcast. Doug Martin definitely led the way as running ball, 88 yards. And if you notice, one of the key players on the Dolphins actually came from the Cowboys. We traded them Sean Lee, and he put 10 tackles in the game. So that was a big move for him getting Sean Lee. He stayed healthy for him. We traded him because we thought he had risk of not staying healthy, but he did a good job in Miami. Billy's kept him healthy, and looks like he knows what he's doing with him. So that's the first wild card game. The Dolphins taking in the Bengals. The Bengals were the underdog supposedly, and Dolphins were division champs, so the division champ moves on. The second game, the Washington Redskins, Seattle Seahawks. I totally didn't get to watch this game. I wish I would have. 34-3, the rare lopsided score in the UFL. Generally in the UFL, games go down to the wire. Making sure that the Twitch is going. I'm not sure if it is. I've never done it with the Daddy Leagues like this, so 1 second while I take a quick little detour and look at this. I'll get back to talking. I'm not sure if it's keeping up with me in the live stream or not. I'm trying to check it on the other computer, and it doesn't seem to be going, but we'll just double check it here and see if it's moving with me or not. The Redskins Seahawks game, I said, you don't normally see this, and the Seahawks defense just came to play. Allowed 55 yards in the air, 28 yards rushing, and I played the Redskins twice, and they've got a solid rushing attack and a solid passing attack. So this game is just an amazing. I guess playing in the Seattle Seahawks home field advantage, just like in real life, it's a tough place to play. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they do in the playoffs. Yeah, it looks like the Twitch is moving on with it, so we're good. Let's look at some of the player stats from this game. Robert Griffin, again, he's killed me with Robert Griffin. Surprising, 2 interceptions, no TDs. So that Seahawks defense playing at home was a real deal. Russell Wilson had 3 TDs, 1 INT. Christian Michael running the ball, 20 attempts. Run the ball pretty well with Turbine as well. So that's our second. Seattle Seahawks moving on to the divisional round. We'll see who they play. Looks like the New York Giants, but we'll walk through that in a minute and kind of talk about who I think is going to win and predictions. Let's go back to the third wild card game. This game was great. Panthers and Falcons. These guys had matched up a few times in the regular season. I think the Panthers won very near the end of the season, a nail biter, and then they were able to pull the upset in this one, and the first upset in the UFL playoffs. And pretty much an even game on the stats. Passing yards both near the same, rushing yards near the same. Turnovers 1 and 0-1. Usually in the UFL, if you win the turnover difference, you win the game. Games are that close usually, one score, maybe a field goal, last second field goal going on. Player stats here, we got Cam Newton, 297 yards, 2 TDs, 1 interception. Matt Ryan, same type thing, and he has 2 of the hottest wide receivers. You saw it, I show the confidence in Julio Jones and Roddy White. Roddy White caught 7 passes for 125 yards, 5 passes, 45 yards. But when it counted, the Panthers came through and made the stop. It's a big win there for the Panthers to move on. Let's see who the UFL wildcard round was. The Chargers and the Texans. These guys just got finished playing. It was a great game. Came down to the end. Texans scored, went for 2 with 2 minutes to go. Instead of going for the onside kick, they sent the kick deep with no timeouts, which was odd. So the Chargers just took a knee and ran the clock out. Maybe he thought he had a couple of timeouts in the pocket that he didn't have, or maybe he thought the Chargers would do something crazy. But great game nonetheless. Texans came into the playoffs with a losing record, going up against a 4-time Super Bowl champ. That's amazing to come within 3 points of those guys. And then here, this is a rare exception. Actually, it's not, because they won the turnover battle. They gave 3 turnovers, and Chargers only gave 2. So generally, you win in the UFL. Look at the player stats from this game. Most of you guys just watched it live a few minutes ago. We had Felix Rivers, 11 of 20, about 50%. Tom Savage, everybody's favorite quarterback, right? Nesbitt, he actually played well on me. I think he got injured in this game. Nesbitt's the starting quarterback. He played well against me when I played the Texans. 5 of 7, had a TD interception. Tom Savage had 2 interceptions. If the Texans can get a quarterback in the offseason or draft, this team is going to be dangerous. I can tell you that right now. Ryan Matthews carried the load when the game was on the line, drive the ball down there, and got one of those touchdowns to kind of seal the deal. At the end, 23 carries. And then Keenan Allen, 4 receptions. He passes the ball really well and runs the ball really well. Of course, a 4-time UFL Super Bowl champ is going to be pretty solid at all phases of the game. So that's the wild cards. Let's go back and look at how that went down. So we had the Dolphins advancing, which was a heated game. Everybody wanted to see that game, and Billy shocked a lot of the league by winning that game. I was kind of thinking he might win because his team had a lot of momentum going in, but the Bengals did too. It was a great game. Seahawks shocked everyone with that 9-7 record, taking on the Redskins 3-13. 34-3, just amazing defensive performance by the Seahawks. And then the Panthers won a tight game against the Falcons. It's tough playing a team 3 times. I think they finished with 2 wins for the Panthers and 1 win for the Falcons. All super close games. Then the Chargers snuck past the Texans in a game and held them off at the end. So we're moving on to the next round, the divisional round, and see what my predictions are to see who's going to move again. And again, if you guys aren't using Daddy Leagues, you need to be going to Daddy Leagues and checking things out, because you can go to all kinds of things and check the team. So the first game we're going to talk about, well, let's say the Chargers Raiders for last, because that's just 2 powerhouse Super Bowls. We got 4 Super Bowl champs here.